Hi there. Welcome to Author Chat. David Wolf here with author Julie Kratz. She is the author of Lead Like an Ally. Julie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Happy Friday to you. And look, we worked on your audiobook, I want to say several months ago, if not nearly a year. Great fun working with you. Your voice was tremendous. The book is really about moving into positive change around gender equality and inclusion, isn't it? Talk a little bit about what led you to write the book and what what you wanted to share with the world in doing so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was my third book. So there was a little bit of pressure of what do you write about next? How do you take this to the next level? And a subject that's near and dear to my heart and very relevant, as you can imagine, in corporate America now, is being
Yeah.
inclusive. How do you be there for people that are different than you? And how do you promote diversity and inclusion in an authentic way? And I have found that allyship is the vehicle to do that, and how to be an ally, something that leaders wrestle with. So that's what the book was designed to solve, that problem in mind, is how do I show up intentionally? What do I do? What do I not do? And so I decided to tell the story through a fable. And so it's kind of fun to kind of be a part of someone's journey, see things that you may not see from a different vantage point, and then have a toolkit to really apply it to your own organization as a leader.
Fabulous. And so the book really is a toolkit through this the fable vehicle, the narrative. In your regular line of work, is this the world that you live in? Is this the kind of work you do in your real life when you're not writing?
Yeah. It's what I think about 24/7. Actually, it's
All
what I
right.
dream about too,
It's
David.
work-life integration, not
Yes,
work-life balance. It's
fully
just this
integrated.
flowing, fluid thing, right? Yeah.
Talking to my kids about it. I mean, it just doesn't stop the work of an ally. So it really is my life's work. I mean, I feel like I get up every day very intentionally aligned with that purpose. And I say that
Hmm.
I'm super fortunate to have found this line of work and
A
have
calling.
more and
Yeah.
more, content that I could, come up with. It's just endless, but
Right.
really meeting people where they're at is something I'm a big fan of. And I spend a
Hmm.
lot of time talking to leaders that are struggling right now. I mean, Black Lives Matter, racial injustice, these are COVID. I mean, it's a heavy, heavy time to be a leader in corporate America. And if
Yep.
you
Yep.
didn't have trust with your team and weren't empathizing and vulnerable with them before,
Hmm.
oh, are you going to have some work to do? So
Yeah.
I think these tools are helpful.
The tools are helpful, and in the course of the work you do, you're talking to a lot of corporate executives. Are there? I'll drill down a little bit. Are there more specific sorts of incidences or symptoms that seem to be bubbling up? You mentioned COVID. Maybe that's a piece of the answer to this. What are you finding? Are there common threads around this, or how do you think about it in terms of? I don't like to call it what's trending, but what are some of the challenges
It
you're encountering
it is a
or
hot
seeing them
topic.
encounter?
How about that?
Mm.
Hot topic.
What?
A hot
Hot
topic.
top?
I
Yeah,
think it's fair to say.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation's always changing.
Okay,
And what we saw this year was a really a renewed focus on diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And
yeah.
tools like my book were very relevant. And I was very, very busy. And then it went really quiet, like a lot of things did in March and April and May. And
Hmm.
then with
Hmm.
the death of George Floyd and the
Oh
awareness
yeah.
around
Oh yeah.
racial injustice, it's really surged. So a lot of leaders kind of had this whiplash effect of, okay, I was told to pause diversity and inclusion efforts, and now I have to accelerate them. Okay. So what do I do? And so everyone did their corporate statement, and they did this all employee rah rah session. And I'm joking, was probably much better than that, but I heard a lot of stories about them. And now the big question is, what are you going to continue to do? How are you going to show up intentionally beyond this? And so a lot of my clients are saying, oh, I've got stuff planned through September and I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do next. Can you help me? We did unconscious bias
Wow.
training. Are there other things we should be doing? Like, yes.
Right. Right. I'm going to guess it doesn't matter the size of the organization you're talking to, or even whether they're a nonprofit or a for-profit, right? I mean, these are humans in an ecosystem trying to get along better, right?
Yeah, yeah. I work with organizations that are as small as 5 people and ones that are hundreds of thousands of people. So it's human
Cool.
nature. Like you said, we all have these problems. No one is as inclusive as they want to be. There's no organizations like we have hit our diversity goals. We are done. Like that does not happen.
It's a not really obtainable. It's one of the, it's like being creative. You keep striving, constantly improving. People are changing in an organization, all of those things. So it's a moving target, I guess. As you might say.
I like to say it's a journey, not a destination.
I love it. We're visiting with Julie Kratz. She's the author of Lead Like an Ally, and we're talking about her book. As I was looking at this sort of the manager toolkit piece, and number one just struck me as, it's funny, it was number one, assume positive intent. There is this thing, and I've thought about this in my own world, where many times people are attributing negative intentions because of their own filter, their own prism. They're looking at a situation through it, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that too. I judge people based on your politics, for example. Oh, well, you must not be for this. And like, that's not fair. Right. How do I even know that's true? Our brains are biased. We love to make snap decisions. And a lot of times we do it without even being aware of it. And so I really like to flip the switch in a conversation of, let's assume this person's a good person, like most people are, and they have good intentions. So if they ask something that's a little off color, or they say something that doesn't sit well, like ask them to clarify it before judging them and shaming them. That's only going to create defensiveness and more of a divide.
It's really a communications thing, an equation, and different people have different levels of bias. But it's true. It's all baked into our DNA, isn't it? I mean, this is something you work on every day with people. How do you unravel? How do you unlearn years of values and behaviors and conditioning being passed? And this is the work. I guess this is the work you do. You help people try to unravel or become aware of their own biases, right? That's a lot of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Years of programming and socialization around gender, around race, around all the constructs we have of diversity cannot be undone in a 1-hour training class. Right?
Do you find that your work
actually think that they actually believe that they can be?
Boom, the magic bullet. I don't like the bullet metaphor, but yeah. How does that? Right. And I guess you're working one-on-one sometimes and more in groups other times, right? It just depends on the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of live
energy.
Yeah, well, I think right now, live virtual workshops. What's beautiful about that for diversity and inclusion, especially who we really need involved in the conversation, are men like yourself, white men. That's who's missing, has been missing in the conversation. So I salute you for talking about this. And I know we've had candid conversations about this over the years.
Yes,
we need more of that. And in a virtual setting, it's actually easier to get those people to join in the privacy and safe place of their computer versus entering a classroom and being like, uh-oh.
Right. Isn't that's a fascinating side effect of the Zoom phenomenon. The Zoom is the new airline, of course, but just the idea that the safety of your own home, you said that so beautifully, this sort of cushion that enables, so maybe this is a positive outcome of COVID, if you could say it that way, or a positive outcome of the shift online to this kind of, this way of doing workshops for you.
Yeah, well, and I think everyone wants to bring their full human self to work now more than ever. Like you said, work and life is fully integrated. They always have been, but now we know they are. And I don't think, we do know that Gen Z, especially and millennials, have always wanted this in the workplace, to really be their full selves. And that's been quieted. It's been shushed. And now we're at a pressure point where we can't behave that way anymore. So we have to be inclusive. If we want to survive, if we want to get the best talent, if we want to grow, all the things that organizations want to do, you have no choice. You need to do it.
All of it. What positive energy you have. I've got about 30 seconds left, Julia. What was it like to record your own audiobook? What was that process like for you? Did you enjoy it, or was it fun? How did it feel? Yeah.
Aside from, I know we had a lawnmower outside one day that we had to be quiet for.
I do believe we try to minimize the extraneous, but some things we just don't have control of, which is.
It was so odd because you could barely hear it. But yeah, you were amazing. A great coach through the process and lots of positive energy to get me through it. It was fun. It was really, really fun.
Good. Sorry to put that over your faces, our faces. The book is Lead Like an Ally. Julie Kratz has been visiting with us on Author Chat. Julie, thanks so much for joining us. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you. Thanks for your support.